Hey everybody, welcome to Our Favorite Frontier, the only Star Trek podcast on the internet that's hosted by me and Nick. Hey Nick.
Hey Alex, how are you?
I've been better.
Oh yeah?
Yes.
Why is that?
Because it's kind of cold outside and I watched this episode.
I didn't think this episode was as bad as some other ones.
Well, sounds like we have a lot to discuss then, because we are discussing the 17th episode of Star Trek, When the Bough Breaks.
Commander Riker, report to the bridge.
On the way.
Harry! Harry, come back here!
What's your hurry, Harry?
Sorry, Commander. I was just...
Harry! I'm sorry if he bothered you.
No bother, Dr. Bernard.
I'm not going back. I hate that teacher and I hate calculus.
Everyone needs an understanding of basic calculus, whether they like it or not.
Why?
Nick, what did you think of When the Bough Breaks?
I thought a baby was going to fall, which I guess kind of happened, but not in the way I expected. And honestly, I thought it was just a straightforward, kind of regular pace for what we've been seeing in this show so far.
Okay. I didn't think this episode was bad as much as I just hated everything about it.
Okay, because I was entertained. You hate Wesley. I don't care for Wesley. But I figured for a Wesley-themed episode...
I hate Wesley and I hate children. And
Yes.
having Wesley and children made me want to throw my phone into the subway and crush it to escape this
Onto the
hell.
subway or into the subway?
Into the the well of the tracks, I guess.
Well, it would be on the tracks. It would be in the well of the tracks. That's besides
Yes.
the point, honestly.
That is besides the point. I hated this episode. I hate children, and I didn't think there was anything overall interesting in this episode. Another episode that had Wesley and children that I hated in it was Justice, but at least that had a somewhat interesting plot of, oh, we violated a law that we didn't know about, and now we're caught in the justice system. There was no moral dilemma here. There was no interesting sci-fi premise. It was basically a hostage crisis with just with less guns and more boring shit.
It was like a Hollywood pedophile ring. Just snatching children and shit.
That's true. Yeah, this was straight out of the Alex Jones playbook. I just think there was a whole planet just taking our kids, and they're gonna teach them how to do wood art.
But you could prevent wood art by using this wood repellent. You could only buy on my website.
I would continue this, but I have I discovered 30 seconds ago when I did an Alex Jones impression that I do a very bad Alex Jones impression, so I'm going to stop.
Yeah, we are gonna stop doing that.
But anyway, the thing that bothered me about it was that there was no, I don't want to say gimmick, but there was nothing thematically going on beneath the surface. It was literally just, well, we took your kids and we're gonna give you something to shut you up and make you go away. And Picard is like, no, I don't want your thing. I want my kids back. And they're like, well, we're not gonna give them to you.
It's like Harrison Ford. He just wants his kids back.
Yeah, he just wants his family back. And then he's just like, all right, you guys, go to the surface, beam to the surface, and like hold their computer hostage. Beverly Crusher, you find a way to make this relevant to talk about the ozone layer so that we can somehow say that this has some social meaning behind it. And then I'll go down and we'll just resolve this plot in a really boring, uninteresting way.
When you explain it like that, it wasn't that good of an episode.
Yeah.
And it's not like you explained it poorly. That's exactly what happened.
It's literally all that happened. There was no
And the thing is that I had an issue with is, yeah, there was a dilemma on the planet. And there was kind of a dilemma on the ship. But there's no one came out a better person because of what happened.
Yeah, you can argue that, oh, these people have to learn to sort of rebuild their society from the ground up. But my issue with that is it's not like the idea that these people had they had the custodian taking care of them for them. That was a big deal. No, it wasn't a big deal. Sorry, it should have been a big deal, because at the end they say, when after Picard and everyone leaves, they look at the big computer room and they like, looks like we need to learn again and we need to spend the time learning how to exist. But the episode didn't revolve around them being catered to and, shall I say, uneducated. It wasn't like that was the theme of the episode. It was briefly mentioned. It wasn't like a theme like, oh, this is a society that has lost its ingenuity and has lost its will to thrive because they've been taken. If they've like the problem is we want kids and we can't have kids, and so the two conflicts are kind of unrelated, basically.
Yeah, completely. I find it weird that Wesley does get third level clearance. Asks these questions to this old lady, and then she says, ask the custodian, okay? He has all these questions. She says, ask the custodian. And what does he do?
He asks the custodian one question, and then turns immediately back to her and keeps talking to her.
And what question does he ask the custodian? Not about his power source. He just asks where one of the kids are.
That too. He's just like, I have all these questions about the custodian. Ask him. Hey, custodian, where are the fucking kids at? Completely irrelevant.
Yeah,
Yes,
but like,
that too.
How you ask where his power source is, how it performs maintenance. Those are the questions you were worried about, and then once you are told to talk to the machine about it, you just don't.
That as well. Both of these, your thing and my thing, are both true.
Now let's talk about this. I want to bring this up.
Okay.
How useless is Deanna Troi in this episode?
Entirely. She said she had a line at the beginning of the show, which I forget what it was. What was it? She said
She's like, you could tell they want something very important to us that we might not be willing to give up.
Oh, that's right. She had.
And I'm just like,
vague...
I'm sorry. I don't have to read minds to know exactly that's what was happening.
Right.
Like she does, and then this is the biggest problem I had. They brought her to the planet, and what's his face, creepy looking McCoy. He was talking shit, things that they need with the planet, and then Deanna Troi says why, like questioning him. She's the last person who should be asking that question, because she can read people and their minds and their feelings and stuff. So she doesn't have to ask anyone why anything, because she knows. This is a very dumb thing for dialogue. They should use a different character instead. They should know which characters have what abilities and format the script around that. She's just
to be fair, she's not a mind reader. She can only sense emotions because she's only half Betazoid. So it's one thing to know what someone's feeling. It's another reason to know why they're feeling it. I will give her a little bit of credit in that regard.
Do full Betazoids are able to read minds?
Yes, like her mother, who's full Betazoid, can read minds. She's only half Betazoid, so she doesn't have the full power. She can only sense emotions.
Well, if you're half Irish, you could have red hair.
Listen, the idea that two different species could make a baby just because they both walk on two legs is already dumb. Don't even begin to question this.
No, but I feel like if she's half Betazoid, it should either she has it all or doesn't have it all. Just like you would in a genetic sense.
I don't know. Someone that's biracial doesn't have one or the other. Like they
don't have half the thing.
They don't. Well, they can. Like if you get someone who has two different skin colors and then they have a kid, it's not like if a black person and a white person had a kid, the kid is usually the pigmentation is somewhere in the middle. It's not one or the other.
But they may have features that are one or the other, like possibly eye shape or
reading.
Nose shape or lip shape. They're not going to have half their lip isn't going to be one shade and the other, or...
Oh, here's where you're wrong. Fun fact. I'm glad you brought up nostrils, because my dad has two different nostrils.
Pardon? Did you just say your dad has two different nostrils?
Well, like, obviously he has two different... Like, everyone has two nostrils. But, like, one is longer like my grandmother's, and one is wider like my grandfather's.
What?
100%. Next time you see my dad, just ask to look at his nostrils.
All right. Argument cheerfully withdrawn. Like,
yeah, no. Next time you see my dad, just go, "Hey, can I see your nostrils there?" And then
and just don't tell him why.
Don't tell him why. Just ask to look at his nostrils.
Okay, he already thinks I'm weird enough.
Yeah, what's the worst that can happen?
Yeah, he'll be like, "Hey, asshole, why don't you stop doing that?"
That's exactly what he will say, almost verbatim.
Well, I guess I lost that argument. I lost that argument. No big deal. So she has half the abilities of the Betazoid.
Yes.
Big whoop. Big freaking whoop.
Yeah, this is actually barely related to the episode anyway, so I want to get back to the episode. In our recurring but soon to be sort of going to the back burner segment, because the show is going to be getting good soon. Captain Picard does captain things more than Riker.
I would say,
Agreed.
but Wesley also does captain things.
Well, Wesley does smart, independent things out of happenstance. It's not like in some of these other episodes where Picard is just chilling in his ready room and Riker does all the decisions. At least there's a reason why Wesley has to do things, but Picard is playing an active role on his end as well, I'd say.
Yeah, it's not like he sent Riker down to fix everything like he usually does.
Yeah.
He did it all himself. So yeah, I would say definitely Picard acted like the captain.
I'm pleased. Overall, I would say a lot of the other characters were just generally underused. You got maybe a line or two out of Worf, a line or two out of Tasha. I don't even think Geordi spoke.
Geordi does speak slightly.
Oh, that's right. He mentions that they were somehow magically blown 3 days. What would take them 3 days at warp 9. But yeah, this was not an ensemble episode. Very little was going on with the cast, so we don't get to see how.
Yeah, and we already talked about before, I feel like the people they did utilize didn't even utilize well.
Yeah.
Like you bring Riker into the episode, but you really don't use him. You bring Troy in the episode, you don't use her. You use Beverly, they use Picard, and they use Wesley.
I will say I did like Beverly's use a lot this episode because she actually got to flex her muscles as both a mother and a doctor.
Instead of one or the other.
What's that?
Instead of one or the other.
Well, in the episode Justice, when Wesley is sentenced to death, she just basically sits there and complains, as a mother, my kid's going to die. Picard, don't let my kid die. Blah, blah, blah. Which, I mean, if your kid's going to die, that's a valid concern to have. But I like the fact that she had her wits about her. I thought this was one of the better Beverly uses because she actually got to show that she has skill and a kid. And she basically, all of her motherly desires to have her son be not dead, she actually channeled through her skill set, which I thought was nice when she actually sort of, her and Wesley sort of do that sneaky little diagnosis of the lady to determine, ozone layer or whatever I guess for the equivalent was the ozone layer, but their issue was the radiation from the shield. So I liked Beverly in this episode. She did good.
She did as well. Yeah, there's really not much to talk about. I mean, we talk about the philosophy of stealing the children and stuff, but honestly,
there's nothing there.
I think it's weird that kid doesn't enjoy calculus.
Yeah, well, you know that it was definitely just calculus because Gene Roddenberry's like, we need to prove that people in the future are better. How do we do that? Let's have a kid do calculus. Because get it? Calculus is hard.
Calculus is fun, and I don't know why anyone wouldn't enjoy doing it.
Can we also talk about how much I hate the father of the sculptor kid? Like the adopted father.
Well, he has shitty parents either way. He has a father who can't convince his son that calculus is cool, and then he has a sculptor dad who, this kid isn't even sculpting, he's just waving a fucking wand over the wood and it makes a fucking dolphin.
Yeah,
he's not a good sculptor at all.
That's the girl too. She just had the Simon Says machine that played music for her.
Yeah, definitely looked like a Simon.
Yeah.
I loved when she got taken and she was playing that instrument, and then you could just totally tell that
because it fell completely the wrong way.
Yeah, and it was just so funny.
It should have fallen backwards, and it like lifts up and falls to the side.
It was literally like they're like, okay, now we need this thing to fall over, so someone just push it with a fucking stick from under the camera angle.
Yeah.
Honestly, that was the best part of the series.
That was funny. Yeah, and like we said, I mean, I guess you could make the argument that the art basically sculpting itself and the music playing itself sort of feeds into the idea that these people are sort of not really doing anything and that the machines are doing it all for them. But
it's their inner spirit that's really making these things happen.
Yeah, but it didn't really matter. Basically, that wasn't a discussion because we were so busy focusing on the fact that these people just fucking abducted children and just are trying to be like, hey, well, we'll give you a map. That's fair, right?
I think Liam Neeson definitely should have been the captain in this episode.
I hear he's trying to not do action movies anymore. Is that true?
Well, I just saw. I mean, I don't know when this is going to air, but I literally just saw a preview of him doing some movie on a train, and I was like, someone else is in it. I don't remember, but I'm like, I need to see it because, I mean, Liam Neeson on a train. It's going to be like nonstop, except trains, and then there'll be an automobile movie. They can have the planes, trains, and automobiles.
That's a good trilogy.
He'll be like a modern day Steve Martin, John Candy fusion. Because when I think of John Candy and Steve Martin, the first person I think of is Liam Neeson.
Yes. But I think that's really all we have to say for this episode, right? Any other closing
Absolutely.
thoughts?
Well, I just had a closing thought on like another thing. I just tried the Schmaltz Brewery Star Trek Symbiosis, which is the 30th anniversary beer they made for Star Trek The Next Generation. I don't know what symbiosis means, but it was a beer and it said 30th anniversary of Next Generation, so I tried it.
Well, it's
And it was
symbiosis.
delicious. Symbiosis. See, I'm not even saying it right.
So that's all we have for this episode. Join us next week when we discuss the episode Home Soil. But that's it for this week. If you've enjoyed, like, comment, subscribe, let us know how we're doing, and we will see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Our Favorite Frontier is hosted by Alex Russo and Nick Caladona, edited by Alex Russo, and produced by Nerdy Inc. Be sure to follow us on YouTube to catch all of our videos, as well as like us on Facebook, Twitter, and whatever other social media we have.